Konnichiwa. Good afternoon, good evening. I want to say thank you very much for your patience and your consideration of your time all day this afternoon. It's been great to have an opportunity to have our first in-person event since COVID here in Japan. Thank you so much for joining us. I have a few minutes before we close the event today, and I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Carrie Lazorchak, and I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of Similarweb. As the Chief Revenue Officer, my job is basically to drive revenue and control sales and the different functions across Similarweb that are responsible for revenue in the business. And I know many people in the audience today have similar areas of responsibility. You either run sales teams, maybe you run customer service teams, maybe you're responsible for the marketing activities that drive revenue in the business. So I thought I would just spend a couple minutes and talk to you about how can you use data and specifically digital intelligence to actually help you improve sales throughout the funnel while in a down market, which is, I think, a challenge that a lot of us are going to be facing in the coming months. So I'm just going to start with the first thing, which is there are things that you can control. You can control things like who you sell to. You can control things like how you sell. The things that you can't control, and I pulled out two little examples, are things like inflation rates. Right now, you can't control inflation rates. This is going to impact all sales activity, whether you're selling to consumers or you're selling to B2B. The reality is people are going to be more conscious about their spend. And they're also going to be more conscious about how they're spending and what things that they're investing in. So you can't influence that. However, you can influence how you react to that situation. Another example, which I think is kind of interesting, is in Japan specifically, the average wage of individuals has been pretty flat throughout COVID, coming out of COVID into today. The challenge that you're going to have is prices are rising. So consumers themselves, your business employees themselves, and businesses are going to start becoming much more conscious about where they spend and how they spend. So I want to spend the last few minutes talking about four things, four ways in which digital intelligence specifically can help you drive efficiency in your business, gain market share, increase revenue, and retain employees. And by the way, if you haven't had a chance in the session today, we have a demo room outside of the event. You're welcome to go play with the systems, see a little bit more about actual workflow and usage of the data and how you might use that in your environment. So let me touch for a second on efficiency. The reality is the biggest or worst enemy in sales is time. And today, there's more time spent by your sales team that is wasted time on paying attention or working on opportunities that aren't the right opportunities right now for the business. They're wasting time doing a lot of research and preparing for meetings, preparing for calls, preparing for sessions, and it takes a lot of time. So one way you can use digital intelligence is specifically to help solve for this issue of how to get the most out of the time that your team is spending. So I'll give you a specific example here. One of the ways that you can use digital intelligence is you can really start to fine-tune the audience, your ideal customer profile. You can identify for your sales team specific lead and target lists based on all kinds of data. Historically, we were using a CRM that only had a little bit of data about the company, maybe the company size, maybe the industry the company's in, maybe the contact data. But digital intelligence can tell you a lot more. It can tell you what are the trends in the market for the customers you want to serve. You can sort for things like who are the fastest growing companies right now in online activities. You can search for who are the companies that have competitive technologies to mine because you want to win that customer. I'll give you an example. If you're a payment company or you have a payment service, online payment service, you can go in and see how many companies are using competitive payment tools, create a target list based on that profile, and spend less time wasting time on the audience that is not your ideal customer profile. So it's a great tool to just streamline that process at the top of the funnel. The second thing is, how do you capture market share? And I'm going to touch on two things specifically here around capturing market share that as a sales leader, I find really, really helpful. The first is making your outbound activities more effective. On average, people get about 121 emails, businesses. How many? I don't know. I get like 300 emails a day, I feel like, so it's a lot. What you want to do with digital intelligence is make the relevance of what the messages you're sending more valuable for the recipient. So if you're going to do a campaign and you can go in and look at digital trends, market trends, and send somebody a message that's very clear about where they're winning and losing in their market, you're going to have a much higher chance to convert that communication and that outbound than if you just send them a generic message that says, hey, would you be interested in taking a meeting? This is the product my company sells. So it's an amazing opportunity just to give you tools, give you insights, give you data to really attract attention from the audience that you're selling to. The other thing is that the most effective sales teams in a down market are going to be the teams that can clearly articulate the ROI, the value of the products and solutions they're selling. So another way that you can use digital intelligence is to inform your sellers and help them understand what the pain points of their clients and their prospects might be and convert that into a potential solution. It's also a great way just to identify where those leads are and create pitches. So for example, if you were a logistics company and you were looking for the target customer to sell your logistics solutions to, you can go into the digital intelligence platform like Sales Intelligence from Similarweb. You can identify who are the fastest growing e-commerce companies in a marketplace, in a certain market. You can also identify where is traffic coming to their website, and are they actually selling product in all of those markets. So a really good example is you may be a CPG company in Japan. We could see 20% of your traffic is coming from Germany. As a logistics company, I could go pitch them a solution to start shipping their products to Germany and have a very clear ROI because I know how much traffic they're getting to their website from Germany. So I can say on your average price per product, I can create a package for you that's going to have a very clear ROI. So it's very powerful to have that intelligence in order to tell that value and articulate that value. The other thing is creating revenue streams. With digital intelligence, you can understand the behaviors of consumers across different markets. You can figure out where there may be openings and opportunities in places that you hadn't really thought of before. I mean, one thing that I think is a positive in a downturn market is it gives you the opportunity to get creative and think of new ways to create revenue. And digital intelligence is one way to inform you of where those opportunities might be. So for example, in this particular example, you're looking at a target audience and consumer sentiment basically across different markets. If you know you have an amazing solution that's going to help in one of these scenarios, you might look at the markets where you could have a big advantage and start looking to deliver services and solutions in that market. And then the last thing is, how can you use the digital intelligence to retain employees? I think this is one challenge that we're going to have as sales organizations is it's going to be harder and harder for your teams to hit their targets. And that can be really hard to maintain enthusiasm and optimism in their current roles. One thing that you can do is arm your teams, arm your sales teams, arm your marketing teams with the data and information that's going to allow them to convert and maintain the win rates and the conversions that they've been doing historically, and to find new ways of creating new avenues for revenue. I think the other important thing to look at is when you look at the solution like Similarweb has, you can take multiple tools you have in your environment today that you're using, whether it's contact tools, whether it's just research tools. You can merge them all into a single tool set. So also simplifying the workflow for the sales team and for your teams. There's a huge opportunity to do that in a platform that's going to give you all the digital insights that you need to conduct your business. So I want to just take a moment. That was a quick introduction to the use case around sales and marketing and the funnel that you can use with Similarweb data. I want to take a moment and say thank you. These are some of the customers here in the audience that use this use case, the Similarweb solution for sales, for revenue generation, for customer acquisition. I want to thank them for their business. You may have an opportunity to speak to them here. And I would also like to just say in closing, thank you so much for your time. It has been a pleasure to be here with you. I hope you enjoyed the content throughout the day. The demo station is open, so please feel free to look at some of the technologies and products available there. The Similarweb staff is also here to answer any questions that you have, and I really appreciate your attention and thank you for your time. Thank you so much.
クロージングセッションはキャリー・ラゾーチャックでした。